Yeah, so I was in the Marines, if you didn't know, and on my second deployment, I got to have a bomb-sniffing dog, and that was Riley. I was hoping for a big, mean male dog, and when I walked into her kennel, I saw Riley. She was the smallest, she was about 42 pounds when I got her. Yeah, she was my baby. No, so I had to put her down back in 2022, but we had 9 awesome years together after my time in the Marine Corps, so that was really cool. Yeah, I took her everywhere, literally. My friends literally started planning things where dogs were allowed, because if Riley wasn't allowed, I didn't go. So that was really cool. All right.
That's great, man.
Yeah, so we're talking about running injuries, chronic pain, and running shoes. Running shoes are, why does Ben hate running? Not hate. Why does Ben not like running shoes? Hate's a strong word. All right, so the big picture. 1 in 5 Americans suffers with chronic pain. 20% of us have chronic pain. Debilitating chronic pain has surged 260% over the last 20 years. So that's the number of people that go to the hospital, have to take opioids. Pain seriously affects their life. 260%. It's ridiculous. Injuries and chronic pain collectively cost us about $1 trillion per year. I think that number is way too low. I'm not sure if they're accounting. I mean, I think it's almost $1 trillion if you just take in professional sports and the amount of injuries that those guys go through and the lost money there. All right. So everybody, let's see how many people can make a fist with their foot. So in your shoes, try to pull your toes. You should be able to touch your toe pads just about to the bottoms of your feet. That's good. Yes. If you can do that, that's fantastic, because most of the people that come see me can't do that, or they have one toe that can't. And a lot of that is caused by running shoes. We'll get into that. The 4 horsemen of chronic pain and injury. So these are the 4 things I attribute to the bulk of chronic pain, chronic disease as well. We've got sitting and not moving enough, poor diet, dysfunctional sleeping positions, and modern footwear. And modern footwear is one that I'm going to be talking about today. So advanced footwear technology, that's the word that's flying around for all the different things shoe companies are messing with. The ultimate goal of advanced footwear technology is to make running easier, which, if you're going to work out, why do you want to make your workout easier? Just, first off, that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, if I was going to go bench press 225, why would I don't know, use a 35-pound bar? Why would I try to make that easier? Doesn't make sense. And the big goal, everybody wants a sub 2-hour marathon. They want somebody to run a marathon in under 2 hours. And ultimately look cool. I think that's the comfort. Yeah, look cool. That's the goal. The components of advanced footwear technology. These are the things that the shoe companies are messing with, that advanced footwear technology that they're messing with to try to get that sub 2-hour marathon. We've got cushioning, mass, that's how much the shoe weighs, fit, how the shoe fits you, longitudinal bending, stiffness, and heel toe drop. These are all not all of them, but most of. Does it work? Absolutely. Research has shown a 4% improvement in running times. People are faster with these running shoes than they are without. But the benefits aren't without drawbacks. The National Institute of Health did a study on running shoe technology in amateur athletes and found no difference between people running with these crazy shoes and people just running with flats. All right, Abibe Bikila. I learned about him as I was writing this presentation. Couldn't believe it. He won the 1960 Olympics and set a world record of 2 hours, 15 minutes, 16.2 seconds. And what does he have on his feet? Can you guys see? Nothing. He did it barefoot. Yeah, so the legend goes he showed up, had a pair of ratty running shoes that kind of fell apart, and he trained barefoot anyway. Someone went out and got him a pair of shoes. He went for a run, got blisters, and was like, I'll just run this thing barefoot. Him and his running partner both ran barefoot. He came in first, set the world record, and his partner came in 7th. So out of hundreds of people. Yep. He's returned to Ethiopia a hero. All right, what your footwear should do for you. Before I tell you what it shouldn't do, what should it do? It should protect your feet from hazards, so you don't want to step on a rock and have something stab your foot. You should feel the ground in them. You shouldn't be wearing a pair of shoes that totally takes away your feel of the ground. Your body has proprioceptors and mechanoreceptors that tell what you're walking on and will actively change the way your muscles contract to allow your foot to shape around whatever it is you're walking on. And your shoes should stay out of the way. They shouldn't make walking or anything harder. And a lot of people are walking in shoes that make walking harder. I watch them struggle with their shoes on. It's ridiculous. All right, mechanisms leading to pain and injury. Accumulated damage. So accumulated damage, it's like a savings account. You put money in, it grows, and as long as you're not spending it faster. So if you're damaging your body faster than it can recover, it's damage will accumulate. Eventually, small tears become big tears. Kinesthetic imbalance, that's a movement imbalance. So if you're moving incorrectly, you overpronate, hypersupinate. valgus collapse. There's all sorts of different kinesthetic imbalances. And then musculofascial imbalance at the bottom. That's when you've actually got one muscle pulling harder than another muscle. So if your quads pull harder than your hamstrings, you get a hyperextended knee. If your hamstrings pull harder than your quads, you get a knee that can't lock, which is also, you'd be amazed at how many people walk into my facility who can't lock their knees. All right, cushioning, the big fallacy. I'll probably spend most of my time on this. Shock absorption can't happen. It would violate the first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only converted from one form into another. And the same goes for the energy going into your body. It doesn't stop at the shoe, doesn't stop at the cushion. What it does do is shock dissipation. And what does shock dissipation encourage? It encourages longer strides, as you'll see with my... before I go to the next one, I actually pulled this little quote here from Nike's website. Maximum shock absorption. Look for optimal cushioning, especially if you're a runner who prefers long runs. Lightweight and responsive foam keeps your stride feeling light and gives you bounce with every step. Alrighty, so actually this study, has anybody, raise your hand if you've ever seen peer-reviewed research before? Nobody. Okay, so this is good. If you look at peer-reviewed research, this is what it looks like. Well, this is what the cover of peer-reviewed research looks like. Much nicer now than it used to be back in the 80s. It's all pretty. So this is the research study I got here is the effect of running shoes on lower extremity joint torques. So what these people did, these researchers did, they took people and compared people running in running shoes, industry standard running shoes versus barefoot. And what they found was, no surprises here, that the cushion in the running shoes encouraged longer strides. The longer strides increased the amount of force on the body. And so what they observed was a 54% increase in hip internal rotation torque, a 36% increase in knee flexion torque, and a 38% increase in knee varus torque. So torque is force on a joint. So knee flexion torque is going to be mediated by the hamstrings. This is knee flexion if you can't see. And that's exactly what I see. I see when people come in to see me, I see tight hips, I see tight quads and hamstrings, and also tight hips for knee varus torque. So it's definitely the increases in torque manifest in actual people, and the people that I see.
So shorter strides are healthier for your body.
They're better, absolutely. So fit is something else that shoe companies want to mess with. So modern shoes, they don't want them to slide, which kind of makes sense. But what that kind of results in is a really narrow toe box because it's gripping the shoe tight. And a narrow toe box forces the feet into too tight of a position. When you force the feet into too tight of a position, you end up with hammer toes and bunions. I'm not going to get into details in the science of that. Just that's where they come from. I see these feet every single day. Motion control. Yeah, it's another one of my big battles is overcoming motion control. So the running shoe, what running shoes are trying to do is with various technology, force people into the correct position. So when you force somebody into the correct position, for example, with arch supports, you're doing the job of the muscles that are supposed to be doing the job. So if you brace an ankle, the ankle gets weak. If you put an arch support on, the muscles that are supposed to maintain the arches get weak. Same thing. And the body also learns to rely on those arch supports. And that's when you see people walking with their feet all the way out to the side. They didn't start like that. They started here. They put some arch supports on, and then eventually the body kind of works its way out. That's just the gait that arch supports encourage. Guide rails, they do something just a little bit different. They try to stop the body from going somewhere. So if your foot tends to fall off the side of the shoe, you'll see there's a guide rail here on the outside. They put that there to try to stop your foot from going there. But what that encourages the body to do is to go there because there's leverage. There's something to push off of. The body doesn't know what's a correct step and what isn't a correct step. It's like, I'm rewarded. It's easier if I do that. And so it encourages the body to do it more.
So why do foot doctors push those?
They're looking at the body.
Supports to go into your sneaker.
They're looking at the body from a structural perspective. Great question. They're looking at it from a structural perspective. So if you wear arch supports, you are put into the correct position. But they're not looking at the body from a functional perspective. Like why, what is supposed to put the foot there? And what happens if that mechanism isn't working? I'll talk. I teach them how to have an arch. So your arch supports are actually in your glutes. Your glutes and your core work together to form your arches. And actually what I see in people who wear arch supports, I see their core is kind of migrates. So the center of the core is right here and up into the deep cervical flexors of the neck. What I see in people who wear arch supports is their core actually migrates down low. Their core here shuts off, and they actually start taking over with their adductors. Their adductors become their core. It's wild, yeah, and you end up with a tight low back. Wow. It's crazy, especially in kids. Kids, it's the worst in them.
Does this work the same way for that, what is it called, plantar fasciitis?
Plantar fasciitis, that's complicated.
Yeah.
That's a talk for another day. There's a lot of different ways that plantar fasciitis can come about. Yes, arch supports can help in the short term, but they take something from you. There's a side effect. Um,
Would you say was worse for kids?
shoes with arch supports. A lot of kids are learning movement without proper core stability. And so almost all of them. Almost all of them. Yes, I know. Not anymore. It's true. Tim's kid is probably the only player. What section? What's he in? Pee Wee football right now? He's probably the only Pee Wee football player with good core stability out of all of them.
Wow. And it shows on.
All right, longitudinal bending. So they put carbon fiber plates in shoes now to increase the elastic rebound of the shoe. Anybody remember those long like things you ever see, like the things that people would wear? They would look almost like skis that come out the front and you like run on them. All right. Oh, never mind.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Well, they're trying to put those in running shoes. Yeah. So they put carbon fiber plates. What this do, it increases the amount of force you're able to get from the ground, and that does encourage a faster pace. The problem is, while you're giving support to the plantar fascia with this structure here, you're not giving support to the Achilles and the calves and the knees. You're not giving support to anything above. And even if the running stride's only 5 or 10% harder than it would be without, that 5 or 10% over hundreds of thousands of strides can really cause problems above. And that's in that National Institute of Health study. They cited most people are complaining of calf problems from these running shoes. So
What about dress shoes, men?
I'm going to get to that. Right now, heel toe drop. Any difference between the height of the heel and the height of the toe? So yes, when I'm looking at your shoes, this is really, I can't always see arch support, but I can see a heel toe drop. The big problem with a heel toe drop is the shift in center of gravity that it causes. So most of you can't see me. I'll do it for the camera here though. So if I give myself a heel lift, what happens? I start to fall forward. So the body has to do something to pull your center of gravity back between your heels. And there's a number of different strategies that people come up with. Depends on their individual biomechanics, all of that. I'll give you a couple of them. The one I see the most often is an anterior pelvic tilt. So to stop that forward fall, people send their hips back and then they walk around like this. Core lengthens, low back tightens, core gets weak, low back gets tight. It gets stuck there. People can posteriorly tilt their pelvis. I see this every now and then. Or they could maintain a neutral posture and leave their knees slightly bent. I mean, there's a lot of different things that people come up with. And this is why I'm not a fan of dress shoes with a heel lift, because they adjust the center of gravity, and that causes functional problems across the entire chain. And the reason they have the heel toe drop, it's to adjust your running stride. So if people strike their heels too hard, they want a lower heel toe drop to encourage more of a forefoot strike, and then the reverse is true.
Is this the same with heels?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the original study that inspired those people to do the running shoe study was a study that was done on heels. So they found the same, very similar results, increased, knee flexion, varus, torque, all that stuff.
So you would say that that toe drop is good just for the moment you're running the marathon, but not good for everybody else, walking
So-
around with the shoes?
If everybody's going to do it, it's like taking steroids. If everybody's going to do it, you got to do it. So I would say train barefoot, then run in running shoes. That's how I would do it, because then you do get you work harder barefoot, and then when you put those running shoes on, it's like training in a weighted vest and taking the weighted vest off. Comfort and aesthetics. Yes, look good, feel good. If you can do both of those things, you can sell shoes, and that's the primary goal of it. So movement restoration. That's what I do. I restore fundamental human movement, and so these shoes discourage. They are the opposite of movement restoration. They're movement destruction. So I encourage my clients to not wear them. I, at this point, refuse to work with people if they continue to wear those shoes. Just because, imagine hiring a mason to build a wall for you, and then every day he leaves, you knock the wall down. He'd probably eventually be like, you know what? I'm glad you're paying me, but screw you. I'm going to go somewhere and build a wall that stays up. So that's where I'm at here. Running fast is great. Running correctly in such a way that you reinforce proper posture and muscle balance is far better. And most people who run want to run for a long time. If you want longevity, run correctly. Run the way your body was intended to run. Yeah, so this is what I want you to take away. Advanced footwear technology does not absolve you from the consequences of improper movement. So if you collapse your arches and you run in shoes with arch supports, you're still building imbalance. You may stave off injury and pain for a short time, but it will pop up. When you restore proper movement, you dramatically lower your risk for chronic pain and injuries. So if instead of relying on footwear technology, you learn to move correctly, you don't have to worry about any of it. If you were someone you know wants to learn how to run correctly, tell them to come see me. I'd love to help them.
Is there like a shoe you recommend for like running? Like just any?
Anything flat.
Like I can't go to the gym in these, can I? Like,
You could go be a BB Bakila and go barefoot.
I don't know if they'd like me to do that at the gym.
Who's gonna oh, maybe not at the gym. Maybe not at the gym.
I found a pair of Adidas that are completely flat and sanctioned by Ben.
Okay.
I wouldn't go running. They're a little thick. I really like, personally, they fit me. I like Converses. They're not going to work for everyone because they're kind of narrow. If you got wide feet, you're going to have to find something different.
Those are my favorite shoes to work out in. They
Which
give
ones?
you some Converse.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Because they're just flat to the
Flat.
ground.
Yeah, I have a lot of these flat shoes, but.
I ran a 21-minute 5K in a pair of Chucks. I was dressed just like this, and I had Chucks on.
What about the on cloud? The ones, but not their high one, the one that is more flat.
I do have up here.
I don't like the word cloud, but cloud implies cushion.
But they're not cushioned.
I will
Not-
say a lot of these shoes you think they're flat aren't. Those Ben's educated me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at my
You got to look at it with a microscope, you know, because
there's an arch support.
There is an arch.
Yeah.
even a 1 millimeter heel toe drop, by the time it makes it up to your head, that's a big shift. The taller you are, the further that shift is. So it's
What were you saying about the sleeping? Because I noticed, like, if I sleep on my side, when I get up, I'm walking funny, like
Yeah.
my hip is hurting.
yeah.
But if I sleep on my
It's because you have wide hips, narrow shoulders, and so
I put a pillow between.
imagine I'll imagine this is the bed, and I'm laying on my side. If you're laying on your side, this is what's happening. You're like this for a long period of time, and that puts the spine out of position. That puts everything out of position, and you got to straighten yourself out when you walk. So yes, the side sleeping. I see so many problems in side sleepers. I sleep on my side. I'm just as guilty as everybody else.
Okay.
Sleeping is better than not sleeping because you're trying so hard to sleep on your back. So I'm not going to tell you not to sleep however you can.
You can only sleep on your side,
No.
so you're just constantly rotating.
Yeah, but
That's why my son-
Juliana, this is a good. When you have your baby,
Yeah.
make sure he's sleeping on your back. So when you lay with him, don't put him on his belly. She. Oh, sorry. When she's sleeping on you, put her on her back, okay? Don't leave her on her stomach. Because babies will end up sleeping, like if you look at pictures of me sleeping when I'm a baby, I sleep the same way now. And it's true you fall asleep in the position you're comfortable in. If you learn to be comfortable on your back,
The most important thing you can take away from this day.
I know. Or when they're sleeping, when they're sleeping in their bed, make sure they're on their back. If they roll to their stomach or their side, roll them to their back. Just do everything.
Safer for them to be on their back.
Do everything you can do.
Put them in a bag, you can do, but when they're laying on you and you know they're
Skin to
feeling
skin
your heartbeat
contact.
and your heartbeat, you're not gonna flip your kid over and have him on the back.
I am. When I have a kid.
Usually what emotionally feels
Yeah.
good for you is probably not best for you.
Yeah.
And stay out of stride rights. If you've got kids, they should not be wearing stride rights, all right? If your kid has a stride right on, they are literally being handed a learning disability into movement.
Every kid starts with
That's right.
Imagine,
What is a stride rack? I don't know.
imagine.
it's like a shoe. I mean, when you first put your kid in the shoes as a baby, like everyone's like,
Babies shouldn't be wearing shoes.
Bottom shoes?
they're just a brand that it's like stride rights. They'll get you
Oh,
like
yes.
No.
yes, yeah, I remember.
And Crocs are anything with an arch support.
Crocs are bad too?
They got arch supports. They're terrible.
An arch support.
Anything with an arch
We're
support
gonna
is
need
terrible.
Ben to give us a top
Yeah.
list 10
Yeah.
shoes that are flat.
Well,
Yeah, I do. I got a
it's
li-
not easy.
I got a list.
I can't walk in no flat.
It's tough.
Super flat?
I don't ever wear heels.
I can super flat, but not all
The
of them.
Converse help tremendously.
Yeah, and disclaimer, just so I don't get sued, it doesn't matter who manufactures the arch support. It's not good. It's not just Stride Right. It's everybody. Anybody making an arch support is creating something very, should be something temporary. You get an arch support until you can see somebody who can teach you how to have a proper arch. So,
Oh, wow.
working on that right
People
now.
who are walking barefoot are the best ones.
Yeah, barefoot is the best because you can't smash your heel into the ground. There's a lot of things you can't do when you're barefoot. You can't just drive your heel into the ground and get all those bad ground reaction forces. You got to walk correctly.
So interesting.
I
Yep.
can tell a
When I
story.
was a kid, I used to
Can I
walk
tell a
barefoot
story about Ben?
all the time.
This is a testimonial, or we have our time to tell a story about Ben.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so my kid would switch to flat shoes, which isn't easy. It's not easy because literally, like, my kid went to a sleepover this summer, and the kids were like, "Nice shoes, dude!" Like, they're all making fun of him. He has like white Vans, right? Vans and Converse. It's not easy to find all these kids' shoes, and my son basically was like, "I'm faster and better than all these kids."
I love it.
And
He has
so
that
he's got to deal
confidence.
with like comments because kids are brutal, right?
Right,
So they make
right.
comments. But so this is the story. So we've switched. We're going to see Ben because whatever you can do to give your kids an advantage, right?
Right.
So how are your parents trying to do it, right? Like my kids are talented, but how do you get them better, right? So here's the thing that really is, Ben is a tough guy in my circle to refer. I've told all these stories to people and they get the eye roll. Because he's literally going against the grain of everybody. $1 billion. And so I told the story once where I was just like, Ben, how do you know you're right? Or my wife's questioning, how do you know you're right? And he goes, but what if I am? So I've told people that story, like, what if he's right? It's tough. People just don't believe it. It's like, well, everyone's wearing our sports, it's not. But so here's the story I'll tell. My kids switched completely. Flat shoes, even his cleats are flat. Until we started football season. So we started football season, I have 3 different kinds of cleats, I don't even think it over. He's wearing them 5 days a week or whatever, and we go see Ben, 4 days a week, we go see Ben on Friday. Ben looks at Jackson, right? He's working with him, immediately gets frustrated, starts yelling at Jackson like he's 10, he can take it. He loves going to see Ben, but Ben will literally start yelling. And
I'm not yelling.
He's yelling. so he's like, you're all off here, what are you doing? All this work I've done, what are you doing? And I'm like, what? And poor Jackson's like, I'm only wearing flat shoes. Like I'm doing everything you tell me. So he's like, what does he got on his feet for cleats? So I'm like, I have like 3 or 4 different cleats. I show Ben. Ben literally meets me at Crossgates Mall.
Oh my God.
I show him all these different cleats. He's like, that's it right there. So why I'm telling this story? How would he know? If he doesn't know what he's talking about,
Right.
How would he possibly know that everything was off? Because he was wearing the cleats with arches for it. Like that was the story I tell people. It's like he couldn't have known,
Yeah. That's
right?
crazy.
Unless he saw it. So I hope that resonates.
Yeah.
Ben, I try to tell people you're going against the grain. You're fighting a $1 billion industry.
So let me
It's
ask
hard.
you this though: are you coaching all these kids?
Yes.
Is it your team?
It's my team.
So yeah, because you want your kid to be better, right? So why tell the other parents? But if you're coaching the
I'm
whole
opposite.
team,
So I'm opposite.
You want them all to be
Parents
good.
are like that. Right?
Yeah.
I share everything
That's
we're
good.
doing because it's like iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
How do you get everyone better?
right?
Yeah.
The whole
Mandatory
team, yeah.
now on your team?
So no, because it's again, no one will listen to it. So I switched his cleats to what he was wearing in lacrosse, which is fine. There's not like high. They're flat. They're Nikes. You can find, but some of these shoes and cleats they're hard to find.
Yeah.
Now, when your son starts shitting on everybody, they're going to be like, well, what's going on?
Exactly.
But there already would be, but like, could you give him an advantage?
Absolutely.
Thing? But I'm telling you, when you go against the grain, people just don't listen or want to hear. And I'm more like, I'm just giving you. You don't have to do it. I'm just telling you what we're doing.
It's your story.
Like I'm always like, how do you get everyone better? Not the parents.
Right.
Like, how do I get my own kids
Now
better? It's like,
parents do that.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. So I'll stop there. But I thought that was powerful.
It's pretty obvious when somebody's not listening. Very obvious.
Yeah.
So I can tell. There's a lot of little things. If their arches collapse, things that I've corrected already start coming back. That's how I know. So
Every football cleat, so all the kids on my team, there's all of them.
Yeah.
No one's wearing flat.
Yeah.
I gotta refer my friend to you. She has a flat foot. She has so.
I was just gonna
a
ask
lot
about
of
flat
pain
Yeah.
in her
feet.
foot.
What do you do with flat feet?
all right. So
Podiatrist.
My ex-husband was flat-footed.
all you got to do: lock your knees, squeeze your butt, point your feet forward, lock your knees, squeeze your butt. You come off the insides of your feet. That's all you have to do.
Lock your knees and do what?
Squeeze
Oh,
your butt.
Well, the opposite of let me see
something here. Let me try.
I have to stand on a table or
Lock your knees. How do you lock your knees?
well,
Lock 'em.
Put them in.
take your shoes off first. It's not going to work.
Squeeze your butt.
All right. So point your feet forward.
Demonstration.
Forward.
You're not pointing your feet forward. You got to pull your heels out a little bit.
Let me feel my heels out.
All right.
one-
Now
one.
line them up.
Oh.
You can even use there you go. Use that. Now,
Okay.
spread your feet just a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Now straighten your knees as much as you can. And now keep them straight. Don't let them bend.
Get straight.
And now stand up straight. Squeeze your butt.
Squeeze your butt.
Squeeze.
your butt?
Yes.
Get squeezed.
If you watch so now relax your butt. Look at her feet. Squeeze your butt. Now relax. Now squeeze. Can you see how she comes up off the inside? It's not a lot. It's only a little bit.
Oh, so you practice this?
You just practice
This is
it.
an exercise.
So a lot of people they can't. When you sit for a long time, your hip flexors get tight. When your hip flexors get tight, you can't use the hip extensors. That's your glutes. So for a lot of people, I'm restoring hip extension. After I restore hip extension, then there's a lot of people who can't lock their knees. And I got to get them to be able to lock their knees. And then once they can lock their knees and they can extend their hips, and they can pull their head back, shoulders back, all that, then they can restore their arches. But
We're over. I gotta
Yeah.
jump because I
Oh, thank you for your story.
Everybody have a good
That's
holiday.
that's everything. Yeah, it's a cool party trick. Restore somebody.